Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Your brother Razza Allah from GMS London Camp. First and foremost, when they give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechach Chodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, blessed to the hopeful and sincere elect. I'm sure brothers have heard the latest breaking news, so-called next, another force flag attack on the, current president's life, DJ Trump, aka Nero, in some staged dinner event, and people already, reacting to the video and saying that it looks like a pre-planned psyop, and even like reporters. One reporter, I think, was on Fox News that got cut off of air, saying that it looked like it was a pre-planned event. And when you watch the video itself, it just looks like horrific, like some horrible, horrific type of acting, man. Some staged acting. And they always look like they hire the worst actors in like Hollywood to partake and do these drill scenarios. Basically, this looks like a live drill that they just filmed on in live TV, and it was just poor acting. It was a poor demolition of a so-called another attempt on the president's life. And then they had all these tweets coming out, and this latest tweet on X from the Brooklyn Dad Defiant, and you record regards this Lego animation, that these Lego animations that these are Persians, these Iranians are putting out, this spills the beans on Esau, and this makes America look very like a just the worst, stage the worst American president, and this puts America on blast and shows how weak America is, and that they're the fallen empire basically, man. And so it says, holy shit, how Iran is banging these Lego videos out so damn quickly. And this is verse, a couple of lyrics from the verse. So shots fired, whole place got swatted out, staging a whole scene. Every time your poles drop low, you pull the same scheme. Talking about President Trump as he's losing in the ballot, the scoreboard, so to speak. His polls are, of confidence in his whole administration is dropping lower than ever before. He's the worst president in president history, and then he pulls out, a psyop basically to try and get his polls back up, try and get his numbers back up, and he says even they think it was staged. So just showing you that people are not ignorant, man, and that's the scriptures. Scripture says to be not ignorant of Satan's devices, especially the men of the Lord, the ones pushing the names of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, and sincerity and truth for the Rachach Kodash, which is the Lashon Kodash, the ancient Hebrew, and those are the names of the Heavenly Father and the Son, and it's not got nothing to do with no Islamist religion, man. Like this demon Deacon Akar was saying, the Lord's gonna deal with that guy very swiftly, because he's definitely a false prophet, and an apostate, and a agent of Satan that's going to be destroyed very soon, man, for teaching the lies that he's doing. But this is what the Lord said would happen in these last days. There would be jakes that would, in the latter times give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, man. Sold out for the bag, basically. But he's a dead man walking anyway, so F that guy. He's low on the totem pole. But yeah, this video just shows you straight up that we're not to be ignorant of Satan's devices, man. And these devils, they're stooping to desperate times, because desperate times calls for desperate measures. And America's just losing on all corners, man. They're losing economically, politically, financially, and they're about to be destroyed physically by ultimately by the nuclear weapons, the ICBMs, the weapons of mass destruction, as they call them, or the waste that is created to destroy, as prophesied in the scriptures. And they're going to fall upon their own sword, because the device that they created, their own wicked device that they created using them scientists, is going to be the reason why their whole system, their whole empire is going to be destroyed by brutal force and violence and fire, that fervent heat from the nuclear missiles, man. So yeah, Esau is a fallen Esau, the land of Edom, aka Babylon the Great, aka America, is fallen, man, and they're about to fall into perdition, the ultimate destruction. and it's going to be for the world to see, to be astonished at, man. That's even in the scriptures. So yeah, I just wanted to do a quick highlight on that. They saw the video in the playback. I'm not going to play it again, but hopefully this video doesn't get taken down. And basically the guy that was involved in the whole thing, David Allen, I think his name is, he was supposed to be so-called an activist of Antifa, supposed liberous, activist of Antifa. And then there's old tweets of him, pictures of him wearing an IDF jumper, t-shirt type, long sleeve, showing that he's down with the Israelis Defense League. So he's basically a setup, a shield that was used to execute this poor attempt of a forced assassination again on the president's life. And now he's been arrested or whatever, But yeah, he was definitely hired, another actor that was hired to do a poor job, and he's come out with his old tweet accounts and all that. He's supposed to be a teacher, but then, behind closed doors, he's a so-called liberalist. He's a part of Antifa, and then he's wearing IDF, regalia or t-shirts, whatever, showing you that he's part of the whole setup, man. He's a shield. He's basically like a modern day Manchurian candidate, whether they use MK Ultra on him or not. He was just hired to do that job, man, and it was another poor attempt, basically. But it was all a psyop, and even the Iranians are saying, yeah, that whole shit was staged, basically. So this is the things that we gotta watch for, man. And be prudent, be wise, and be circumspect, man. Because even our enemies are so-called other nations outside of the nation of Israel are witnessing the defiance and the lies of the great Satan, the Edomites, how they like to stage events and create psyops and all of that. So we can't be being Israelites, we definitely can't be ignorant of that fact, because we know according to the scriptures that's how Esau rose. He definitely uses psyops and these black swan events, to stage events, order have chaos, so you can bring forth, that new world order. That's what it's all about anyway. So yeah, it was a funny video, that Lego video, man. But them Persians are definitely creative when it comes to them animes, man. They're going in. So anyway, the 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, and what's one of his devices? Through the witchcraft of doing staged events, man. Because why? Because all these all these things that he conspires to do behind closed doors is all planned and orchestrated by the wicked elite on the left hand side of the Lord, and they use it as a ruse to, as I said, bring forth all the Abkeo, Hegelian dialectic scenarios, so they can push forth for their new world order agenda. And we're getting closer and closer to the final phase where they're going to stick biometric devices in people and all these forced assassinations and all of that stuff in the president's life. That's going to lead into all that as well. Also, people always, trying to be, walking, getting into close proximity of the president and all of that. Now that's why they want to bring forth that biometric system, so they can track and trace everyone on the face of the earth, track and trace all citizens, no matter where they're going, by way of satellites, man. So yeah, that's another prevention is better than cure type scenario that these devils are going to try and create. Yeah, so yeah, we're not ignorant, man. And to be ignorant means to not know. And through the spirit of power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, being a Hebrew Israelite in this truth, we know, the tactics of the devil, and these the fiery darts that we have to shield ourselves with, the shield armor of faith, the breastplate of faith, escape the fiery darts of the devil. It tells you in Ephesians 6:16, man. So yeah, this is definitely not a time to be ignorant. You gotta be circumspect more than anything, and keep watching. Be prudent as well, It says Job 15:34. It says, for the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, which is talking about the whole of America is going to be destroyed and inflamed, and engulfed in flames. You know, it says, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. Yes, America's going to get burnt to asunder. It says, verse 35, they conceive mischief, talking about the leaders, the heads of the cabal, you know, the evil, uh, counsel of the wicked, of iniquity. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. Yeah, so this is what these devils do. They conceive mischief. They plan all the chaos scenarios and events, so-called drills, false drills, and turn them into live events and all of that. You know, it says, and bring forth vanity. You know, and the belly prepareth deceit, and it's all based upon lies, man. And it's poor acting as well. As I said, when you watch the video and the playback, it just looks like a poor attempt, man, of a bunch of excommunicado Hollywood actors or something like that, man. Because everyone's just not even focused on the fact that it's supposed to be a real thing, situation going on, and most of the crowd are just sitting there while there's so-called an attempt on the president's life. Like, if there was a real attempt, people would be scattering, be in panic mode, screaming and shouting. Tables would be turning up and down, upside down, and people would just be out of hysteria itself. Or there'd be like a stampede of people trying to rush out and get out of the building. But none of that was going on. It just looked like a poor attempt of, a bad Hollywood movie, a B movie that never made it off the screen, and it just looks poor, man. And then you had certain people standing up and videotaping the event, but they're supposed to be on the floor underneath the tables and all that. It just looked like a whole shambles, man. And then obviously the Iranians were pre-warned about this event, I guess, because they did the Lego animation talking about this coming out, talking about the event and what would happen as soon as it hit the breaking news. The video was uploaded, man. So either the Persians know something that we don't know, or they're inclined to the what Esau's doing over there in the West, man. So it's a number of things, man. But it's evident that these devils are just at desperate times, and desperate times calls for desperate measures and poor acting, man. To try and bemuse the people. But a lot of people ain't falling for the shenanigans no more, man. They see these devils for who they truly are. The spawn of Satan, these Edomites, man. And they're a bunch of habitual liars, man. You can't be trusted. It says Psalm 64 and 2 says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the workers of from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. And that's the wicked elite, the cabal, the 1%, whatever you want to call them. It says, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Who's the perfect? The elect. These are the ones that they want to chip up in these last days with the MOT to the B system, the byproduct of the MOT B to the system. So suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. So they're always planning something, man. They're like pinky in the brain type shit, always planning something, planning some form of pestilence, of destruction, how to cause more chaos on the earth. Because they're the seed of the wicked, man. It says they commune in lane, says privily, they say, who shall see them? Now the Lord sees you, and now the Lord sees you, and he's definitely making his men, the men of the Lord, the righteous men out here, from the apostles and elders, the great millstone and down, the true prophets of the Lord. He's making them see you too. How the things of Esau are searched out, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. Yeah, so this whole thing was like a staged event, man. It was a psyop, it was a staged event. And Esau's just been caught out there with his pants down, and no one's falling for the okie doke no more. No one's really falling for it, man. Now these devils are gonna have to stoop to even more lower levels of depravity to try and bemuse and confuse the people to think that there's gonna be some major catastrophe that's gonna change the course of history right now and basically destroy the American economy, to make people believe into taking that MOT to the B as part of the Great Reset, the fourth industrial revolution that they're setting up, the Great Reset, man. which they're gonna do. You know, they're gonna accomplish the so-called New World Order, but they're only gonna get so far with it. You know, but they're gonna have to, do some greater works to deceive the people, man. It's gonna have to be more horrific, you know, and they're gonna do it, man, because Esau has no limits, man. Esau doesn't have no threshold, man, when it comes to wickedness. You know, that's why they're known as the seed of the wicked. They sons of perdition, man, a man of sin being revealed. It says they shoot and seek, that they may shoot in secret in the secret at the perfect. So like in verse 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune in laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and their heart is deep. So they're always trying to do some form of research. And, they want to do these social experiments on the people to see how people react. And that's part of the order of chaos scenarios, man. They create the chaos and they see how people react, and then they come with the order to try and restore order, so to speak. So this is just another part of that they're going to try and use in the time of civil unrest, civil disobedience, civil war, and give more credence for the president to declare the Insurrection Act, the national security, martial law. Because that's what's going to come of this now. All these going to be more austerity measures are going to come out of this. Because now this is like the second or third attempt on the president's life. So now he's going to have to declare some type of national state of emergency, national martial type, law type, austerity measures. That's going to keep, more for law enforcement to be able to persecute people on the roads, man. And now you see the bill that they just passed about executing immigrants by way of firing squad. So this is all, part of all that, all the Abkeo techniques that these devils are using to try and bring forth that new world order, man. Executing, so-called DTs, that's domestic T's, and so-called divergence of the government. Some people that are seditious, they're going to come down upon the people having great wrath, because they know if they have the short time. It says the devil's going to come down. So this is who's doing this. The devil, so-called white man, Esau, Edom. Oh, it's verse 8. Look at that. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And it's, as I said, there was a little situation going on with a Fox News reporter saying that this looked like a pre-planned event, because it was some poor acting, basically being executed, trying to execute the damn president, and basically the feed or something got cut off when the reporter was saying it. So they're making their own tongue to fall upon themselves, man. They're spilling the beans on themselves, knowingly or unknowingly, subliminally or on purpose. They're spilling the tea on themselves, man. So this is crazy, man. But there's gonna be more of this. So that's why we can't be ignorant in these times, and definitely can't be ignorant of what the devils are doing, man. That's why we constantly gotta watch these devils, man, to see what they're gonna do next. Because as I said, there's no limits to Esau's wickedness, man. He's always trying to endeavor to do something far greater and worse, and those times are definitely coming on the board, man. So yeah, with that, hopefully, brothers edified. I just want to highlight that fact, man. Be not ignorant of Satan's devices, and keep watching, man, and praying. So give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash, and Shalom to the hopeful and sincere elect.